Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we are diving deep into a seriously fascinating piece of Rajasthani folklore. We're going to unpack the epic chronological life of Lord Devnarayan. If you're someone who loves hero journeys packed with ancient prophecies, miraculous escapes, and legends that physically map onto real-world geography, you are absolutely going to love this. Let's get right into it. Om Jai Shri Dev Hare, Swami Jai Shri Dev Hare. You know, if you ever find yourself traveling through the Bhilwara district of Rajasthan, you're going to hear this chant. It literally echoes across the landscape, and it instantly sets this reverent, mythic tone. It's not just some old folk song. For the people there, it's a living invocation of a divine presence that they believe cleansed the earth of tyranny. Okay, so to really grasp the magnitude of Lord Devnarayan, we kind of need to zoom out and look at the cosmic timeline of Hindu mythology. Texts describe that whenever the earth is just overwhelmed by sin and atrocities, the divine actually takes physical form as an avatar to hit the reset button and restore balance. In the Treteya Yuga, we had the avatar of Lord Rama. In the Dwapar Yuga, it was Lord Krishna. And in our current era, the Kali Yuga, the source material presents Lord Devnarayan as this grand divine incarnation, arriving precisely when the world was desperate for a savior. Section 1. The Divine Incarnation. Now, what's so cool here is that this myth isn't set in some abstract, faraway realm. It's grounded right in a specific physical place. Lord Devnarayan was born in the village of Gothda, tucked right into the Malasar Hills in the Bhilwara district, to Manasadu Gujari and Raja Savwi Boj. But here's the kicker. Before his actual birth, he appeared to his mother in this incredibly vivid dream, making a promise that he was coming to wipe out the rising evil plaguing their land. Part 2. Prophecy and Flight. As you can probably guess, the arrival of a divine savior usually means bad news for the local tyrant. So while there was this huge, joyous celebration surrounding the birth down in Gothda, a very different vibe was taking over the palace. King Durjansol started suffering from these terrifying nightmares. He could just sense this profound, unseen threat to his reign. The whole palace was totally consumed by the sense of impending doom, which prompted the king to urgently call in his astrologers to figure out what on earth was happening. The sheer audacity of this next part is just amazing. So the panicked king calls for an astrologer, right? Well, the divine avatar himself, Lord Devnarayan, actually shows up disguised as a Joshi, an astrologer. He walks right into the royal court, opens up his charts, and calmly delivers his own prophecy. He looks King Durjansol right in the eye and tells him that a boy born to Sadhu Gujari and Gothra village is going to be the absolute downfall of his entire empire. Obviously, telling a king straight to his face that his empire is doomed is going to put a massive target on your back. The king's forces mobilized immediately. Knowing the immense danger they were in, Mata Sadhu Gujari acted fast. First, she sought out St. Rupnath for a spiritual blessing of protection. Then she gathered everyone, the cowherds, their massive herd of cows, and they made a desperate run toward her maternal home in Malwa, over in modern-day Madhya Pradesh. It was a tense, grueling escape that actually forced them to hide in the shadows of the Chittorgarh crematorium for 3 whole days just to catch their breath. Section 3. Miracles of Healing. So, as the convoy pushed forward, they actually settled for a bit in a dense jungle area about 10 kilometers west of Chittorgarh. This spot eventually became what we now know as Manda Village. And Manda is wild because it has these super strict eco-spiritual rules that date right back to this legend. There is a complete, uncompromising ban on cutting wood. It's so strict that trees literally grow right up through the roofs of people's houses. And get this, back in the day, some villagers made the mistake of cutting wood to forge iron tools. As penance, they had to abandon those tools forever. If you go there today, you can still see those ancient, rusted iron tools permanently wedged into the tree branches. It's a striking visual reminder of a truly living faith. And the miracles, they just kept coming. Picture this, you've got this massive herd of cows, and they're traveling through a totally dry, unforgiving region with zero water in sight. The animals are desperately thirsty. According to the lore, Lord Devnarayan is riding his legendary horse, Nilagar. Seeing the cows suffering, Nilagar strikes this dry, barren rock with his hoof, and boom, a fresh, cool spring of water bursts right out of the stone, saving the entire herd. Today, that exact spot in Senti town is revered as the Nilakarika Devra. Well, word of these incredible events spread like wildfire. It eventually reaches the royal court of Mewar. The king of Chitsagar hears about this divine figure and actually brings his elderly father, who is suffering from leprosy, to see Devnarayan. And this moment is brilliant because it shows just how humble the avatar was. He doesn't use flashy magic, he just asks for a handful of everyday neem leaves. Using their natural medicinal properties, he completely cures the king's father. The king is so blown away that he falls to his feet and offers Devnarayan the literal throne of Mewar. But Devnarayan refuses. He says his mission isn't to sit in a palace, but to serve the poor. Because of that profound selflessness, people gave him the title Dev Darbar, the divine court, a name devotees still use today.
Part 4. Sacred Lands and Legacy.
So, evening is falling. The convoy is exhausted. They're now about 15 kilometers out from Chittagorg, and they decide to set up their 6th major resting place in the wilderness, just seeking a tiny bit of peace on this intense journey. At this 6th resting place, things take a really emotional turn. Lord Devnarayan has an encounter with his Dharma sister, Jetu Banyani. She had been faithfully following the convoy this whole time. But as Devnarayan prepared for the reality that he would eventually leave the earthly realm and return to the heavenly abode of Vaikunta, Jetu was absolutely heartbroken. To comfort her, Devnarayan makes a solemn, unshakable vow. He promises her that no matter what happens, he will return from heaven specifically to attend her young son's future wedding. Now, to really understand why this is such a big deal, we need to talk about the Myra. In Rajasthani culture, the Myra is a massive, highly significant traditional gift brought to a wedding by a maternal uncle. Devnarayan was promising Jetu that he would personally bring the Myra, fulfilling that sacred family duty. That promise was so powerful and so legendary that an entire settlement eventually grew on that exact spot, and they literally named it Myra Village. Today, there's a famous shrine there, serving as a permanent physical monument to a brother's eternal promise to his sister. So we've tracked this epic journey from a prophetic dream in the Malasar Hills, through daring escapes, to eco-villages, all the way to divine promises that literally named towns. Which leaves us with this final, powerful question to think about. How do these ancient promises and miracles continue to shape the physical geography and living faith of Rajasthan today? When you have trees still growing through rooftops in Manda and thousands of people still gathering at the shrine in Mera, you realize this isn't just a story from the past, it's a map of the present. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this has sparked your curiosity to explore even more of the living folklore that's all around us. See you next time.